Hi guys, hope you're doing well. I had a little bit of time today and I kind of wanted to do something that I didn't create. Fiona Abel Smith is the author of this technique that I know of, but there was something else that I wanted to make that kind of falls on the line of her work. And what I mean by that is if you've ever watched her put videos together, you've seen my kaleidoscope canes, right? And I've got these little circles that I line up here, and I've got these big circles and all kinds of different things moving in there. And I always hate the way they come out because it's not like a kaleidoscope cane like I wanted. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't want so much busyness, and I want to do something where I'm not putting in different shapes to make a design, because it never works out. I mean, if you look at most of my canes, I've got a couple here. Well, this was just from scrap. But see how they're not bad, right? So this is one where I used a bunch of circles and leaves and all kinds of stuff to make this cane. And I don't have a problem with that, but I just wanted to be simple to see if I can get a nice design out of just being simple. Which brought me to Fiona. A while ago, you can probably find this video somewhere in there. It's at least 2-3 years old. She just used a couple of color combos. She didn't add any circles. She didn't add any other canes. She just used like this, and ended up making a really nice kaleidoscope cane. So I wanted to make my own, and I have an idea of how I want to do that, but I'm starting off with one of her canes. I don't know why, but I'm thinking it'll help me it'll kind of help me figure out where I want to go with mine. So I'm going to use the same colors she did in mine, but this one is not mine. So I just want to give credit to the person that did this. And it's been a couple of years since I've watched it, but I think I can do it. I think I can remember how she did it. So basically all I did was a Skinner blend. And on this one, I used red, orange, yellow, and white. This is with Kato clay. I know people ask me how much amounts that I use. Basically, when I make any of my kaleidoscope canes, I'm using a square at about 2 inches. And depending on how big I want the cane to be, I use anywhere between 2 and 4 cuts of each color. This particular one, because I wanted to make my own cane along with the Brocade cane that she did years ago. So I ended up doing 4 of these in each color. And then basically I just got a big slice of this, cut it in half, so I can use half for her cane and then half for mine. But it doesn't matter how much you use. Just use what you're comfortable with. Trying to condition Kato clay last night. I don't know how my shoulders have survived this morning, but with the pasta machine, it killed me. Now I know Fiona uses, I think she uses Fimo, which is I think a little softer, and her canes come out perfect. But I wanted to do this specifically in Kato. Okay. Just because it is stiffer. I don't know how long it's going to take me to reduce this, but I'm hoping the design stays together. So basically what I did, as you saw, which I should have been explaining it to you, cutting them in 4s. Just make a Skinner blend. Make it into a bullseye cane, not a fan fold, just like a regular cane. The white is in the middle. Cut it in 4. And then basically, I'm just taking the sides right here and pushing them up. Now, I use this technique a lot when I make my flowers. And this way you get kind of like a, I don't want to say a watercolor effect, but it sure feels like it sometimes. It just spreads all that outside color through every bit of the petal. But we're not going to do that on this one. So we're only going to reduce it. We're not going to go as far as a flower where you would pull it out, reduce it, cut, reduce until we get that pretty flower. Okay. So I want the outside pushed as high as I can, but not over the white. You can go over the white if you want, but I'm trying not to. Okay. So I think, okay, so this is where, again, if I were making a flower, this would be part of my flower petal. Okay. And I'm just trying to squish it all together. Okay. Once you squish it to a comfortable size, then you're going to push all this up. And that's why you kind of want that red to go up a little higher. Now, I'm only going to use half of this, I think. I don't know. Okay. So we're going to go, we're at 3 inches. Obviously we're a little bigger, but that's because I didn't clean my edges. Okay. So that's what that looks like. So again, if I were making a flower, I would put both of these together, probably like that. And I would squish it again. And you can kind of see how it would give you like a watercolor effect. They're not sharp lines. So if you were to make a flower petal, you can put this together, make it another 3 inches, cut it, put them together, make another 3 inches and cut it at least 2 or 3 times. And it would make these lines a lot thinner. But I have a feeling we'll do that with the leftover because I'm only using one. So maybe we can do that later. So I already cut the other one of this. So we're going to do the same thing. Okay, and again, we're just trying to push that green up and over. But between her and Donna, the way they kind of like manipulate the cane into different shapes. And, well, Donna kind of uses a lot more, I think, as far as hers are pretty precise when she does it. I don't draw any of my stuff out. And with it being Kato, it takes it a little longer to kind of move that clay around. I love Kato, the way it just stays, you know? But I don't think I could work with Kato alone every day. It's a lot on the fingers. It's a lot on the arms. And like I said, running it through the pasta machine, boy, that was tough. I think it's just because of the amount that I used was quite a bit. So there's 3. My heater is kicking on. It has been a cold week. I don't know why we didn't get snow last night. It was cold enough. But our winds were about, I don't know, they were probably about 30 or 40 with gusts up to 70. Excuse me. Sorry, I had a sneeze. Winds were so bad out here. We had a couple tornado warnings. Nothing like Tennessee tornadoes or anything like that, but it was just crazy last night, and the rain was just so heavy. I think Lake Tahoe, which is up north, they got like 30 inches of snow overnight. And I read something today that they had an avalanche. So I hope they were able to find everybody, because there was like a guided expedition taking place. So that's always scary. Mammoth Mountain's a little closer to us. I mean, Wrightwood. We have we have so much. You know, you got your lakes, you got your beaches, you got your mountains, and your deserts. But we're about, I'm gonna say 30 minutes from our local ski resort. That's up in Wrightwood, and then about 2 hours from a place called Big Bear. Maybe 3.5, 4 hours from Mammoth. And then I think Lake Tahoe from us would be about 6 hours or something like that. But Mammoth usually gets a lot of snow to where people are literally snowing or skiing in July. I'm shocked my kids have not taken off and gone skiing this season. Now that they're older and have all these responsibilities, they don't ski as much as they wanted to. Okay, so there's the other one. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put these two together. Actually, I should probably clean one of these edges. So I'm going to, you know what, I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. And I'll cut it off later. Unless I can't see the other side. So basically, I'm putting these together backwards. Okay, so I'm going to have this go right there. So we're leaving the tip out. And that right there. And we're leaving the tip out. And what she did was she added like a little swirl. Okay, so... well, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. She folded this over. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just folding this over that one. And we're going to do the same with this one. Okay. I'm going to try and make it even. Okay, so basically we just fold it over like this. And I think the reason her video came to mind was because this is what I want to do with my own cane, but I don't want all these. I just want to take something like this and move it, manipulate it, put it around another one, and put it around another one, and just use that for my cane. I just want to see how that'll turn out, because I do so much work on my Kaleidoscope canes and then not really happy with them. So I think while I was trying to attempt one yesterday, this video of hers, it came in my thoughts and I remembered what she did. So I thought, all right, you know what? I'm going to try that one first. So we'll see. But anyways, that's it. That's basically all she did. I'm going to try and see if I can get this red all the way over here. Okay, so now we're going to make this into a triangle shape. So I'm going to kind of push these in. And then I'll figure out the best end that I like. I like that for the top. So I'm going to make this for the bottom. Okay. Okay. Alright, now we're going to make this into a triangle shape with the top and the bottom. Why do I feel like I've done something wrong? Got my triangle, right? I got one flat. Okay. Alright. That sneeze makes me need to blow my nose. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Had to do it. Kept sneezing. Plus, I forgot that I had orders that are still out. So, I needed to get some of those out. I got a couple more that I'm working on, so I may have to pause you again, so I can get all my orders out. But anyways, so we're just reducing this again to about 3 inches. But I might go just a little longer this time. And then I'll cut the ends and make them all pretty. Okay. I tend to make my triangles really high. I'm trying to get better and not doing that, but okay, so I'm just going to cut off a little bit of the end and you'll see what it looks like so far. Okay. And then we're going to cut this in half. Alright. So that's what it looks like. And I'm trying to do something that she did. When she did it, was she turned it like that to make sure that we got it right. Okay, but we're going to twist this over so that we got green on one end and an orange on the other end. Okay, so that is our cane basically. And we're going to do the same like we did before. So we're going to make one end flat and one end triangle, if that makes sense. Okay, now for a little bit of added eye candy, I guess you can call it, is what she did. Well, she took these ends right here. Yeah, and Jake's been barking like crazy as always. Okay, and you want to make it even. See how that's done? I'm going to do this side too. But I might have went too high on the white or on the yellow. Okay, and now we're just going to curl it in. So I'm going to have the white on the inside. Probably didn't have to go that thin, but I just want to curl it. Okay, you don't have to do this, but it just kind of gives it a little, I don't know, just something to look at. Okay. And then again, we're curling it in, so it's kind of like on the opposite side. You got one going up, one going down. And that's basically it. Okay, so now, same as this, we're going to reduce it. We're going to reduce it so that we can get 6 parts out of it. Now, the one thing I've noticed that she does is she likes to just make this and leave it alone. And that way she's got a bunch of different shapes. I usually put mine into the actual kaleidoscope cane. She kind of makes it as she goes because she makes a lot of veneers. I don't make the veneers. But if you leave it alone in just one triangle, you can get like 3 different patterns out of it. Wow, this is a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. A lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and reduce this to approximately 9 inches so that we can get 6 1.5 inch strips out of this. Okay, so I am going to go do that, and I'll be back when we get to 9.5 or 9 inches. Okay, so I've got it 9 inches here. And I'm going to go 1.5. Okay, so that's basically what we got. Okay, and now you can decide how you want this to go. Okay, that doesn't seem right. Yeah, this is the hard part here. Actually putting it together. Okay. Not quite sure what's got me sneezing today, but my nose is a mess. Okay, that's not right either. All right, there we go. I think. Okay, so that lines up, but I'm not real happy with the center here. Okay. So maybe I should do it in twos. So I know each of the canes are different. But see how this one is just longer. All right, so let's try that. So if I did 1 and 2, okay, that looks much better. Okay. So that's what it looks like when it's all put together. Okay. So obviously I want to come back in here and make sure these are all even. So this side might have just had a little bit of the bad stuff still attached to the end, which is why I can't get that to look good. Now for this, I'm going to leave it the hexagon shape. So when I reduce it, I'm just going to reduce it like that. Okay, so that kind of makes it hard when you're trying to pull this out. But if you do section by section, you can try and keep that shape a little bit. Okay, she doesn't do that, as you know. She will take this just like this, and then she'll cut out the little strips and make her own designs like that. I'm just not very good at that. Okay, so we're just going to leave this size. And I'm just going to cut a little bit off the end here. And that way you can see what it looks like. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so that's the idea that came to my head was her video when I started this. So now we're going to do what I wanted to do. And it's kind of basically the same thing. I'll take the green. Alright, so we're going to do the same with making this. This clay is just so hard. But I wanted to make this into 2 triangles. Actually, for what I wanted to do with mine, I wanted a fan fold, which would have been the white on one end and the green on the other. But since I made one big bullseye cane to make that, oh, I'm not going to worry about that. And I'm just going to go with the bullseye and see what happens. But I kind of want that white to be out. So this, I'm going to go 2 inches on this. I don't think I can work this at 1.5. I'm trying to push that center up as I move in. So that's 2. So the one thing I don't know, the purpose of doing this is to see if you can just take a couple of canes, manipulate them a little bit without adding a bunch of elements into it, just to see what you'll get out of it. But I'm wondering, should I put a couple strips of black and white in there anywhere? Should I put anything for like a focal element to it? And that, I have not figured out if I could do that or not. So I might check and see what sort of bullseye canes I have, just in case I decide that, yeah, I'm going to need that little bit of element. The one thing about this is you don't know what it's going to turn out like until, you know, until it's basically done. Yeah, and I'll cut that one later. This one looks like it's a little bigger. So we'll get to that part when we cross that bridge. I might have to take a really quick break here. I had a small order that should be done. So I just need to get the last ones out for the mailman. And give my fingers a little bit of a break too. Okay, so I'm glad the white was be able to push out of this one. Because we're going to do that whole swirly thing. going to kind of clean up the edges. I don't know why, but I am it's going to make some nice, fun stuff for that. I love these color combo. Okay, so let me go check on my order real quick. Then we're going to figure out how to put these together. Okay, 2 more orders out. So now that I've come back in here, and I'm looking at this. So what my intention was to do was to curl this around here, and maybe curl 2 more around it. Now that I've done hers, I'm kind of wondering if I should make it look like a petal. And I know that's not what I came in here to do, but unfortunately this is me, and I always change my mind midway. So I did one of these a couple days ago by doing it by switching it up like that, and it looked kind of cool. I'm not really happy with the color choice I did, but I liked the way that looked. But something is telling me to make it in a petal. So I'm going to do that. So I'm glad we really didn't get into this, because you knew I was going to do this, right? And I'm cutting it now because I should have had 4 pieces and I didn't, because I wasn't going to do this. All right. Now, I could make the yellow a petal, and these just solid around it too. I don't have to go all petals. But let's see what happens. Okay, so I can leave it like this, which I probably will. I could go 1 more, but I think I'm going to go just 2. I'm going to do the same with this. I'm going to go to 3 inches here. And if I want 4 of these, then I'm going to have to go 3 inches again. Okay. Yep, that took a dramatic turn, didn't it? And I'm hoping it was for the best. Alright, so now we're just going to I don't know. don't know if I want just these two. And I think I'm going to make this into a square cane, like I did the other one. This one. Because if anything, all I was going to do was wrap two pieces around each other. And that was our cane. So if I were to wrap these two around each other, which I got to make these a lot longer. If I wanted to add two more to that, how would I do that? So that's where I'm coming into, do I need to do one more? So we're going to take this to 3 inches. And yes, we want that top to be tall. I'm going to go a little bit bigger than 3 inches. Just so I can see if I can do more than one. I hope this isn't a really confusing video. This is basically just me playing around, not really a tutorial. Just trying to do something new. I'm not quite sure how to execute it. And without adding a bunch of round pieces and leaves and all of that. Okay, so I'm going to go, like I said, let's bring this up. And I'm just going to cut a strip off of here. Strip off of here. Okay. So if I curl this over and this one over there, could I add another one? See, I don't know how that would work. That would come there, that would come there. Right? If I did that one over there, and that one curve around there. Oh, Irene. I don't know why I do this to myself. Or I just leave it like this. But what happens if I wanted to put, not this color, but wrap it around some kind of a focal point? Just one focal point. Or should I go with what's in my gut and not do any of it at all? You know what I mean? I don't like that. No, I'm going to stay with my original idea. I am going to cut these in half. And if it ends up messing up the whole design, then that's on me. Okay. So, we're going to take one. And we're going to wrap the orange around the green. And we're going to wrap the green around the orange. That was going to be my cane right there. And then we're going to come here. I'm going to kind of go backwards. Kind of wrap that green around that. And wrap that around there. Oh. Yeah, I got a little dilemma here, right? How do I make this into a triangle? Yeah, this is going backwards fast. All right. I mean, it might work. I'm not going to say anything because it might turn out really good, and I'm really glad that I'm recording this, because if it turns out really good, then I want to make it again. But this is not what I envisioned, I'll tell you that. I feel like I need some kind of, I don't know, some point in here somewhere. But this is the one thing that I like about clay over glass is you can just do so much more with it. Alright guys, this is it. So what we're going to try and do is make this into a square, I think. I don't know. I'm just praying it turns out. That's all I care about at the moment. I have one more order that I have to get out. So, I might have to leave you soon just to get that done. I'm going to go 2 inches on this one. Or no, 4 inches. I've got it at 3. I think I want this a little bigger. It's less strain on the hands. And all I'm going to do is cut off a little piece. That's a lot of clay. That's a lot of clay. And it's not a lot of clay. But for me, this is a lot of Kato. Okay. So, I'm just going to cut right here. Because what I'm going to want to do butt it to the end like that. Now you see where Fiona's video or her tutorial came in to play with mine. Because I knew what I wanted to do, and then when hers came across my feed and I went, oh, okay. That's kind of like the idea I've got. And it's basically the same. But it just seems really weird that I don't have anything to go with this. But that was the thing, right? That was what we wanted to do. See, because I don't like that. I mean, that would look okay too if I wanted to do 6. But I wanted to do a square. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's a lot to cut off, isn't it? All right. That one looks much better though. So we're going to cut off this side right here. And cut it off in 2 inches. Okay, because now we're going to take the ends, so we're going to put it right together like that. Okay, so this is our base of our square. And this one's a little bigger. It's just because of the end right here. Okay, so now this is our square. So again, the easy way to do your square is if it's facing this way, you want to push this back. Then when you turn it this way and it's more in the back, you want to push this forward. And once you get it in your hands, you'll see what I mean. But you want to go the opposite way of what it's facing. Okay. Use this little piece right here to help it along. All right. And now I want 4 pieces. So we're going to take this to... I should just go 8 inches because I'm already at 4. So I'm going to reduce this to 8. I'm going to check on my last order and I'll be right back. Alrighty guys. So I needed 8 inches and I somehow got a little bit distracted waiting for my last print. So I kind of reduced this a little bigger than I should have. So I'm going to try and squish it back together. I don't think this works ever, but I'm hoping it does for this time. And for Kato, I'm kind of shocked that it did get so soft. Okay, so I like that one. So now we'll cut it at 2 inches. All right. And then we have one more reducing to do. And figure out how I want to put it together. I guess there's only one way. All right, well, when you do it in a square, make sure your squares are the same size. As you can see, mine isn't quite perfect. This one's just a little bit higher. So we just squish it down a little bit, right? All right. Let's do that with this one. You can tell this one's just a little bigger. That one's perfect. Yikes. Okay, so these are on the opposite end. Right. And yes, this one's a little bit higher. So as you can see, besides it being Kato and a little hard to reduce, this is such an easy cane. And this is literally my first cane that I've made, besides this little teeny sample one, where I didn't add a bunch of elements. And you know what? I think it turned out really nice. Although it wasn't what I was going for. I knew I wanted one to curve into the other. And I wasn't going to add those 2 extra pieces. But in doing so, it didn't turn out too bad. So I'm kind of happy about that. Sometimes it's better not knowing what you're going to do, because you always seem to come up with something pretty cool. So I'm not going to reduce this too much. If I can get it maybe about 3/4 of an inch. Maybe smaller, I don't know. I usually don't go 1/2 inch. And if I put these up for sale, I don't think you're going to want 1/2 inch either. So I'm just going to use this very lightly. All right. So if I do 3/4 of an inch, if I can get 3 pieces out of this, then I'll probably sell 2 of them. Keep one for me. All right, so these things are so great for doing this. And it just helps make everything even. But I always lose them, as you can see. And I literally just cleaned this out. Oh, I don't have the exact shape that I'm looking for, but I think this one will work. All right. So I just want to make sure that these blocks are even. And the same with this. So I want them 3/4 of an inch. And that looks about right. And of course, 3/4 of an inch on this side. This is a little smaller on one end. All right. So what do we have? Perfect. Just cut a little bit off. And we make these 1.5. It's 2. And this one will be mine. So I will have 3 up there for sale. So amazing how 2 bullseye canes end up like this, right? No added any elements into it. And this is Fiona's tutorial. Big difference. This would be nice if you're making a veneer. You know, you could even make it like that in a 4. But alrighty guys, I think that's it. I hope you like that. So thank you Fiona for this. And the color combo is just awesome. So I just had to try hers and had to try mine with that combo. And I absolutely love that combo together. I think I like her cane better than mine though. So you guys have a great day. We will see you next time. Bye.